Hey everybody, this is AYG's Alpha Team, here with another video for the Division. This is going to be our 1.8 D3-FNC classified gear set. Let's get in it. Now I want to preface this by saying that this particular loadout is designed specifically for PvP events, so skirmish and last stand mainly. And as you may or may not know, when you enter skirmish and last stand, your stuff gets mid-maxed down, which is why we had to kind of overcompensate with certain amounts for stamina and firearms. So that's just a heads up. This will also work in PvE events too, so just keep that in mind. Alright, let's go over the set bonuses real quick. Set bonus 2, protection from a leech, which isn't going to help you in skirmish at all, but it will help you a little bit in last stand because there are NPCs. Set bonus 3, ballistic shield damage resilience, 10%. That is very important. We'll go over why in a second. Set bonus 4, allows using an SMG if one is equipped while ballistic shield is deployed. Only master rank shield mod is active. Ballistic shield health is increased by 57% for every 3,000 stamina. So what this means is if you go to your ballistic shield and you activate it, none of these other modifiers are going to be active, so you can just ignore what the bonuses that they give you, because they're all identical. So you don't have to worry about any of these. You're only going to have to worry about this self-healing. After a short time while taking any damage, the shield slowly repairs itself to full health. So this is the only mod that's active. So keep that in mind. So you can just ignore all those other ones. So next up is set bonus 5. More protection from elites, more ballistic shield damage resilience, another 5%, which is also very important. And then set bonus 6. While ballistic shield is deployed, melee damage is increased by 2,000%. All overhealing the player receives is applied to the ballistic shield as healing after reaching a damage threshold from receiving physical or exotic damage. So the ballistic shield grants a buff to the player and all group members within 15 meters for 6 seconds. The duration of the buff is increased by 2 seconds for every 3,000 stamina of the player. Physical damage gives you an armor increase. Exotic damage gives you a weapon increase. When at 9,000 stamina, ballistic shield health is increased by 200%. So all this really, here's how this reads. You get a sick melee that hits pretty hard. It's pretty significant. You don't really have to rely on it though, but it is really good. And then after your shield takes roughly 800k damage, you will get a buff depending on how you're damaged. So if someone's just shooting you, that would be physical damage, and then you'll get an armor increase. If you take damage from like a grenade or a turret or sticky bomb, and you reach that threshold, then you'll get a weapon damage increase, which is awesome. 30% is significant. And you get it for 6 seconds, and since with this build we'll be rolling over 9,000 stamina in last stand and skirmish, we're gonna be doubling our duration time. So we're gonna be a full 12 seconds for all these buffs that we'll get. And you'll see in the videos, you'll see in the gameplay where we talk about this more too. Plus 9,000 stamina gives you 200% ballistic shield health. So all these things you got to keep in mind, and this is what makes this build incredibly tanky and also incredibly valid whenever you want to use it in a group or in solo play. So let's go over the pieces now. Chest piece comes with health and skill haste. You can roll for exotic damage resilience, but logically I think you want to take the exotic damage because you're so tanky. You can absorb all of that exotic damage for the most part, and it will get you to trigger your bonuses for taking damage to your shield sooner if you don't have that exotic damage resilience. Now, it's just a judgment call. That's why I'm going with skill haste here and health, but again, it's up to you. All of our pieces are also going to be rolled for stamina because we have to get to that pretty much the 10,000 stamina threshold. So when we get mid-max down, when we enter PvP events, it'll still stay above 9,000. So all of our mods are going to be stamina and crit chance, and then with the exception of one's going to be firearms crit chance because we didn't need to have all of them to reach the amount of stamina we needed. And then all of our performance mods are going to be ballistic shield damage resilience, which is very important, and we'll go over that again once we go over the skills. Mask is going to be skill power and burn resistance, so you want to get roughly over 123k skill power. That also is going to affect the health of your shield. So just keep that in mind when we go over that in the skills. Keep that in mind that we're rolling for skill power, not electronics. We just need our skill power to be about 123, around there. Anything above 121 is going to be great, but if you can get to 123, you'll reach the threshold and you won't be able to get any more power or health to your shield. So keep that in mind too. Having like 200k skill power won't affect you anymore. Like, you just have to get to the threshold, and once you reach there, any other skill power is just going to be irrelevant towards your shield health. So keep that in mind. Burn resistance here, if you're going to use this for PvE, make sure you try and roll for damage to elites. Knee pads, more skill power, disorient, burn, and disrupt. Burn, bleed, and shock are the ones I usually go for, and again, this is another spot where you can roll for damage to elites. Backpack is also going to be skill power, because again, we need it to get our skill power up, but we can't use any of our mods to get our skill power up because we need them for stamina. So that's why we roll for skill power on our backpack, mask, and knee pads. So here with ammo capacity as well. Gloves are going to be SMG damage, crit damage, and I really would rather have, crit chance, and I really would rather have crit damage instead of health on kill, but we couldn't go with that because we had to roll out for the other two. SMG damage is a no-brainer, crit chance also a no-brainer. And like I said, critical hit damage would have been way better for this particular set of gloves, but again, we didn't have that option because of the gloves we had, so that's what we had to go with. And then holster is going to be more crit chance. And we're rolling for so much crit chance because we want to hit as hard as we can because we have virtually no firearms, just that one mod. Now, weapons of choice. I chose the house, obviously, because it's a hard-hitting weapon, and we needed to kind of supplement all that damage wherever we could. I don't have one that has talents that will be unlocked by this particular loadout, so I just went with this one that has no talents unlocked with the exception of the card counter, because it's a free talent. It's modded specifically for crit chance and damage, and with this gets us roughly around 50% crit chance, and we'll be supplementing that as well with precision talent, which we'll go over in a second. Other weapon of choice is PP-19. Now I went with this because it has the longest sustaining fire, and I have it with the correct mods that can be unlocked with this particular loadout. Self-preserve, sustain. There aren't many that can be unlocked with having such high stamina and such low firearms, so that's why I went with these particular. And already comes with hurried. And again, this one's also rolled for crit chance because we want to get that as high as possible so we can do the most damage. Now, let's go over the stats really quick. 52% crit chance with our PP-19, which is good. Crit damage is really low, but again, this isn't built around firearms, we're built around stamina, and we'll go over why in a second. Headshot damage is okay. Reload time is irrelevant for this particular weapon. Let's get to the house, actually, so you can see those numbers, because this is going to be our primary weapon. A little bit better. Range is okay. Reload time is a little slow, but we kind of, we just kind of have to play the cards we're dealt with the house that doesn't have the talents that we need unlocked. SMG damage 12% from our gloves. No damage to elites, but again, you can roll for that on your knee pads and your mask. You could also get it on mods if you really want to, but again, we're using this for PvP, so we had to go with what we got. Health and kills low because we're not really rolled for it. Threat is huge. It's even more dominant when you have your shield out. Skill power 125 is a good number. Like I said, 123, I think you can get to the threshold. You'll be fine. Skill haste is from our chest piece. Max health is really good because we are rolled for so much stamina, and we do have a little bit of health too. Armor is over 32%, which is awesome. Health regen is irrelevant because we don't really need it. Protection from elites is 30%, and that's from our set bonuses 5 and 2. Burn resistance is pretty good. Disorient, disrupt, no shock. The rest of these are irrelevant. Let's go over our skills now. So our skills. We are going with the ballistic shield, obviously, because this is the D3-FNC build. Now again, we could ignore these modifiers because they aren't affected. You don't use them. You don't get the benefits from them when you're rolling the D3-FNC 6-piece. You just get the master. So that's something we have to keep in mind. But these are the numbers I wanted to go over. So health is 2.3 million, and the reason we get there is because we have over 123 skill power. Over 123k skill power, and that's what gets us that health. Now every 1,000 skill power gives you a significant boost to the overall health of your shield. So if you were rolling like 115 skill power, you would have a significantly lower health shield. You'd be closer to 1.5 million, which is significant. Now our damage resistance is 45% with this. So what that means is not only is our shield going to be taking less damage, we as a person are going to be taking less damage. And also coupled with the certain talents that we have, we're going to be well into the 60% range for resistance. So that's one thing you got to keep in mind with using this build is your shield is going to be super tanky, but you also are going to be super tanky. So if someone gets around you, it's going to take a lot for you to still go down. Like, you still won't just be dropping really quickly. Cooldown's a little slow, but we can't really, again, we needed to spec so far into stamina, we couldn't really go into electronics for this. Another thing you got to keep in mind. And we're also going with the first aid immunizer, and this is for obvious reasons, to clear, you know, any kind of status effects, because that's mainly how people are going to try and take advantage of you now, is with status effects, bleeds, burning, things like that, because that's the only way they're going to be trying to get around you, and that's why we're rolling with this. Plus, it gives you a little bit better heal than the overdose because we were running such low electronics, so that one's kind of a no-brainer. Talents are going to be very important. So the one that is a must for this particular build is definitely critical save. Using a medkit during low health is to increase damage resistance by 20%. So this coupled with the 45% with your shield, and if you start taking those armor bonuses you get from your shield taking damage, you're going to be ridiculously tanky. We're talking about like 2 million overall toughness, which is awesome. Which is why you definitely want to go with critical save here. I go with Combat Medic to help my team. I'm using Precision to supplement that crit hit chance and damage, so I can get a little bit more out of my firearms. But we're not 100% reliant on our firearms to just do the job. We're not going to be running gunning. We're going to be tanking, but it's not the same as running gunning. We're just going to put our face out there in the open and try and take as much attention as we can, so the rest of our team can just kind of destroy everyone. And then again, Adrenaline to kind of cleanse, you know, status effects. Another one that I really like these with this 1.8 update. All right, guys, that's everything. Now let's go over some strategies in the gameplay. All right, guys, one important thing to remember when you're playing D3-FNC is that you will have the advantage in one-on-ones, no matter who you're fighting against. Be the best striker player you've ever played against. He's going to be able to get stacks on his shield, but he still, as an individual, won't be able to do enough damage to you to take you down. So then it just becomes up to you to do enough damage to him to take him down. Like countless times playing this build, I've ran out of ammo and ran out of med packs, and I was still able just to stay alive using my skills. So just keep that in mind. You just got to make sure you lay down enough heat in order to take them down. Another scenario right here, this guy gets a little ahead of me at the beginning, and then immediately just remember, oh, I just have to keep the shield between me and him. He starts to get aggravated. He's not doing enough damage. You can see he's just unloading on me. It's not like I'm standing in a corner or anything. I'm just standing in a hallway. He's got plenty of time, plenty of room to shoot me. And he still can't just do enough damage because of how much resistance you have to damage in this build and how much overall health you have with yourself and your shield. And he pops his tack, still not doing enough damage. Able to take him out just with a couple of extra bullets. Just keep that in mind. Another thing that's going to be hilarious that you'll notice is that you're going to be pissing people off. And they are going to hate it. Now in this scene right here, I just rezzed 2 guys, and this guy got super pissed, so he just super exposed himself and got himself out in the open. He's getting frustrated. This other D3-FNC, you can see, just not on par with the level of play that we're playing at. This guy just starts taking melee swings at me because he can't get behind me to actually do the damage to myself rather than my shield. So he just starts melee swinging at me. And that's what's going to happen. Like, people are going to get frustrated, and they're not going to be, because I guess they expect you to stand there and let you shoot them, let them shoot you in the back. So that's just not going to happen, obviously. You're just going to keep the shield between you and the enemy. They're going to get frustrated. You're going to use that to your advantage. Just keep them frustrated, and eventually they're going to just commit and make a mistake. Always fun. Expect some hate mail with this too. Alright guys, I'm going to let the rest of these play out, and I'll see you at the end. that's going to do it for the D3-FNC, guys. Just remember, you're going to win all your one-on-ones. You're going to piss people off because they're going to try and shoot you and you won't let them. It's going to be hilarious and awesome. So go ahead and leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more from REgaming.com. Also, shoot us a comment if you have any questions or you want to give us any feedback. It's always appreciated. Until then, go ahead. Game on.
Game on! Yeah, game on!